So I'm a huge fan of all those media. At the same time, I guess that the one thing that I think that it's important to keep in mind that that the bandwidth of communication when you're in the room with someone is just so much higher than over email or Facebook or even over the phone. You know, there's like a hierarchy of bandwidths, and depending what you're trying to do, for a lot of things, face-to-face is the best way to do it. And you want to be aware of what the best medium is for the situation. So I think there's some things that are best done by email, maybe better in email than face-to-face. There's some things that are best done face-to-face, and it's worth being aware of which is which. I guess that's the thing. So I don't think either of them are better or worse. I think social media does amazing things, but it's worth being aware of what the right tool is for the right job. I don't like things that distract people from what's happening in the room. I mean, I think that's one of the things when you think about the right way and the wrong way to do things. I think it's, I like people to mostly be in the room when they're in the room. You know, I don't think it's helpful to have people. I think it's great for people to tweet about things at the breaks and things like that. But the idea that, I mean, I know that at tech conferences, sometimes you can have like a back channel and they'll have like a live chat behind, and that's like behind the person who's on stage, which means you've now created like you think about I think there's already a problem with people on stage in an audience where there's kind of a basic alienation between them. It's like, oh, how can we even increase that alienation by having the audience whisper each other, have there be stuff happening which often the person on stage can't even see. So like that's just like, it's like, oh, let's just like separate them further. That's crazy. And I think there's often a vanity on the part of organizers. I think when you're organizing an event, it's hard to have a perspective on what the event is for, what it's about. I think organizers tend to vastly overestimate how interesting their event is to people who aren't there. So like one of the things I always get with organizers, they're like, well, we want to live stream all the conversations, or we want to, could we get transcriptions of all the sessions? And I'm like, I mean, for some stuff, it's worth it. Like I think, for TED Talks, it's, people, there's a lot of people who want to watch a TED Talk. But for like a little group conversation about like what's going on in your little organizational sector, it's okay. Like it's okay for just to serve the people who are there. That's what's really useful for. And trying to sort of put it out into the world, if it's gonna hinder the actual conversation anyway, it probably isn't worth the trade-off.